Evening. You alright? Yeah, I'm fine, Robert. How are you?
I was drinking. I'm not allowed to drink now. This is
Well, big delayed reactions.
I was sorting my tabs.
Good. The view's better. Welcome back, episode 28. How are we? Miserable as always, it sounds.
fine.
Yes, miserable as always. Grumpy.
I was sitting,
Yeah.
look uninterested for the whole episode.
Right. What tops we wearing then? I'll go last.
Usual. Liverpool.
Usual, Queens.
To mark a sad day in the calendar, it's the 1 year anniversary since
Since they made the mistake of subbing a player on to take a penalty.
Since Connor Goldson made the mistake of not clearing the ball. Scott Wright never showed him on his stronger side, and Ryan Kent twatted it straight at the keeper from about 3 yards.
I feel like more of a mistake was made by subbing someone on to take a penalty because that never ends well.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the whole t-shirt there.
I'll also ask, are we being sponsored?
Yes, I was about to mention that. KSI was on the phone to me yesterday. We've got a new sponsorship. No, I'm only joking, but if they do want to, then here's a message. I thought I'd be like one of the cool kids and show off my pint bottles.
Can they make one that tastes nice?
Celtic Tears from the Weekend. That's what the new flavour is.
Rangers tears from not winning the title and doing well when it doesn't matter.
No, I'm not going to bite. It is upsetting, but we'll come on to that. Right. So, first of all, it is Thursday night tonight, so some games are currently ongoing. Newcastle are currently winning 1-0. Kyle, you were doing the score updates just before we came on air.
Still 1-0.
Who scored again?
Dennis Undav own goal, corner kick.
Makes a change. Newcastle don't have a great record from corners this season, which is very weird considering the amount of height that's in that team with Scher and Byrne and others. You'd expect them to do quite well from corners, and they just don't.
Well, maybe that's something that Mr. Howe can work on at the weekend.
Mr. Tindall.
The summer even.
Well, most big teams have a set piece coach these days, so one of those would be good.
There's been a lot of media attention for the assistant manager. Seems to like the limelight.
Mr. Tindall.
He doesn't. It's been made by one really annoying fan. Like, it's been made by one person who's been rattled by it, and they've just found convenient pictures.
It's a shame.
I enjoyed the photo of Eddie Howe's about to walk over and shake the manager's hands, and he's already there first.
Yeah, to be fair though, that's happened a few times this season, and no one's made a big deal of it. It's just because of where they stand. Like, Tindall's usually the one on the edge of the technical area.
I know, but it's funny, and I'm going to keep the joke going.
It is funny, and also the fact that, I don't know if you've seen it, Athletic Bilbao did a tweet that was like, "Go well tonight, Newcastle," and it's just a photo that includes Jason Tindall photoshopped into it somewhere.
Yeah.
I like the tension.
There was a fan on the pitch at the Newcastle game at the weekend.
There was.
We dipped into a bit of the patter if you saw the Twitter, but that's not good. You can't be doing that.
No, get him arrested.
Aye.
Getting bad for next week.
Guillotine, I say.
Need all the fans.
From what I've heard, from what Eddie Howe said, like, Eddie Howe was genuinely scared.
Don't look at
Apparently, what he said to him, Eddie Howe was pretty worried for, like, based on what he said, which I can't remember, but apparently Eddie Howe was
thanks, Caleb, for bursting all our listeners, eardrums. Customers, I'm still in shop mode from work earlier.
If you would like to become customers, please give us some money.
Yeah.
Just for news, just money.
Brian, sponsor us. Do you get my fingers?
Or fuel, the cheap one.
Robert's bank account details are going on screen now.
If anyone wants to hack us, then
there's a nice photo of Edward. Kind of silly.
Zoom in on Edward's face. He didn't look that scared in that photo. I know he would be, but
so as I can do. Looks confused.
Yes,
That's
he
what
looks at who the hell are you?
he looks like. He's at the bar in a pub, like in the just after dinner time on a busy Saturday, and someone said something utterly ridiculous in his ear.
Yes.
Like Newcastle win the league or something like that.
Or he's got a waft to someone's dupe aftershave.
In the toilet, £3 for a lolly and a scoosh.
Right.
Right.
Moving on. While we're
I don't
talking about
know.
the Premier League, I'm going to change the running order and say while we're talking about the Premier League, Southampton aren't in it anymore, or aren't going to be in it for much longer.
More games.
I blame Joe Aribo. No, I'm joking.
I blame Nathan Jones. Please take the job at Cardiff.
I'll blame Steve Davis for leaving all them years ago.
Who left 5 years ago?
His fault. Shouldn't have left.
I blame Liverpool for signing all their players.
Who was the last one
Oh.
signed?
Don't know.
Like fucking Ricky
Nathaniel
Lambert.
Klein.
I think it was Van Dijk actually, when I think about it.
Is there
Probably.
Victor Wanyama?
You had Spurs.
Was he before Van Dijk? Was he after Van Dijk?
He went to Spurs though.
Yeah.
Has he not played for?
No, Celtic,
Oh.
Southampton, Spurs, America.
Oh,
You
that was
almost said Liverpool there.
I don't know.
that was a bit of a boo-boo. I thought he did. I was thinking Liverpool instead of Spurs. Oh well, I'll take the one on the chin for that.
Yes. They're not in it. I mean, it looks... They sacked Ralph Hasenhüttl for doing not terribly.
There must have had some reason behind it.
Probably trying to stop the rot before it gets too rotten.
Well, yeah, they did it just before the World Cup. So they did it and that we'll get a new coach in, he'll take them through the World Cup and then we'll really kick on. But they picked Nathan Jones and they didn't.
Then he got sacked about a month later. Well,
And then they've replaced him with a PE teacher.
It is the
Ruben
Premier League.
Sellers.
The Premier League manager merry-go-round.
It is soon, and it's soon because it's Southampton to be the Championship manager merry-go-round.
Yes, them and Everton and what is your hatred of them?
They think they're
Have
a
we
big
discussed
club.
this?
Yeah, they think they're a big club. They think they've got some godforsaken right to be in the Premier League. They hate
Just jealous because
Newcastle.
Rafa Benitez managed them.
They hate Newcastle. Newcastle hate them. Be funny to see
Well-
George and Pickford get relegated. That kind of stuff.
So it's a rivalry, but it's not a
Not
rivalry.
everything is about Newcastle.
Yes.
Customer Jones nil, us two.
Kyle, as a Liverpool fan, do you not want Everton to go down?
Not really. I don't know what keeps a rivalry in the league.
That's true.
An actual one, none of this Newcastle Everton.
It's
Well, no,
not
it's
a proper
not.
rivalry. It's just got a bit of spice to it, you know?
Liverpool versus England, is it not?
Liverpool versus everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Scouse not English.
Pretty much.
Maybe getting a bit political now. Maybe we should move on from that.
Yes. Yeah, who is going to join them? I somehow think as much as I want Everton to go down, I somehow
Nah, they'll
not
stay
sure they
up.
will.
They're jammy, aren't they?
They've also got the best games out of anyone.
Just try to read the league table first before I make any assumptions. I don't want
So what we're saying? What's the like the odds on folk going down and such? We discussed it earlier on. But
Leicester.
I don't.
Leicester can be doing by Monday if they lose.
Yes. If Everton beat Wolves at Molineux on Saturday and Leicester lose at St James's Park on Monday, Leicester will be relegated.
Actually, if Leicester draw, they'll go down, given Everton win. No. Yeah. Maybe. Could be. I don't know. No, Forest.
Yes, it'll be 4 points.
The Forest are 34 though. If they draw, they can still catch Forest.
Yes, they can. Leicester's goal difference is also something to note. That Leicester's goal difference is considerably better than everyone else's.
that might be their saving grace. I think.
They have to win the game first though.
Yeah, true.
What about Leeds? West Ham, before a European final. West Ham are obviously playing the second leg of their semi-final tonight,
Yeah,
Thursday.
they won't be
They play
finished by the
Leeds
time
on
we finish
Sunday.
recording.
They play
That'll
us
be
on
a big
Sunday. Especially if that goes to extra time. If that goes to extra time, Big Sam will be licking his lips. go and get into them.
Always does.
I was just saying, when doesn't he?
They've also got Spurs on the final day, and
he's just trying to get the bits. He's just trying to get the bits of pie off his lips before the game. Yeah, so I don't know. Leeds they were kind of lucky last season. They're kind of loitering around now this season, obviously, but I don't know. It's close.
I think it'll be Leicester, and I don't know.
Do you think those teams could come straight back up though? Out of those teams, who'd come straight back up?
None of them. Maybe Leicester actually.
No, Leicester wouldn't.
It's a bit mental. Sorry, you want to
go? There's still a lot of good players, and they'll have any good players left.
The thing is that there's probably going to be a fire sale from whichever one of these clubs goes down, especially Everton, because they'll be in a financial black hole. Though I have seen there's talks of the people who own Hertha and Red Star Paris and someone else who I can't remember. Their owners are allegedly going to buy Machidi out at Everton, which is a great omen for them, considering, as we'll find out in the predictions later on, Hertha could also be relegated this weekend.
Well, they've got a nice new stadium to look forward to in the Championship at this rate.
Well, if they can afford to finish it.
True. What they're going to do is just leave it.
Need to sell Sigurdsson.
If they could have sold them, they would have got rid of them sooner.
If only they were building them in Qatar, it wouldn't have cost them as much.
How?
Because they just did it on the cheap, and I'm bringing this back. The World Cup should have been there. They did it on the cheap and slave labour. Sorry.
Yes, they exploited migrant workers. We do not support that. This podcast does not support modern slavery.
Down with that. World Cup shouldn't have been there.
Yes.
Right,
also, to go back to that, I think, out of those teams, what players would you actually buy?
What teams?
The four at the bottom: Everton, Leeds, Leicester, Southampton.
Someone will buy Pickford.
Ward-Prowse will get a move.
Ward-Prowse is a one-club man, though. Ward-Prowse might decide he's staying.
England career, though.
What about Maddison?
He will leave.
Maddison linked to Newcastle very strongly, linked to Spurs. I'd quite like to see him go to Spurs because I don't really want him.
Tielemans, he'd move.
Again, the thing is, some of those players are decent, but where have they been this season?
Can't spare one man to keep everybody up, though. Okay, Maddison and Tielemans, example, are two good players, but the rest are rotten.
Pickford, who wants him? That's the real question. Who needs a goalkeeper?
To be honest, any mid-table Premier League club would take Pickford. Let's be honest.
Brentford are allegedly signing. They've activated the release clause on the Freiburg goalkeeper
because Moreira's leaving it.
Yeah, but as I say, they're already in the process of signing someone.
Spurs.
Spurs maybe
because they don't.
Lloris is leaving.
Man United, if they sign Martinez,
Villa might take him.
Yeah, if Man United sign Martinez, Villa might take him. Yeah.
Chelsea. I don't know.
I've got Mendy there.
He's not really a play though. Mendy.
They've got Mendy and Kepa. The thing is, it'll depend because obviously Potter preferred. Mendy was injured for a bit, but then Potter still preferred Kepa, whereas Tuchel preferred Mendy. So I think it depends on who Poch wants.
Well, that's mental that Poch got the job.
Is it?
No, I just I see it as he managed Spurs, why is he managing Chelsea? But it's like Rafa Benitez.
PSG.
Yeah, it's like Rafa Benitez though. He managed Liverpool. Look how great he was, and then he's managed Everton as well.
Mourinho did it. Conte did it.
Granted, the
other way around.
The rivalries aren't.
Sorry. No, just continue.
No, I was just saying. Granted, the rivalries aren't as intense. It's just I just think it's a bit weird in my head. Yeah. So.
He wasn't Chelsea's first choice. We do know that now. It's came out that they really wanted Nagelsmann.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he's too much. He's too high profile for them now.
I think Nagelsmann would. Yeah, I think Nagelsmann would take one look at that and go, nah. The thing is, though, like, Pochettino's legacy at Tottenham is building that project. He built that squad, he improved the players that were there, he took them to the Champions League final. Chelsea tried a manager like that in Graham Potter, and it didn't work.
Never given time, though.
Yeah, I know, but what in any of that indicates that Pochettino will be given anything different?
He's a bigger name than Potter. That's about it.
He is, but he's a very similar type of manager.
Has Graham Potter ruined his career by that just quick move?
No.
When's his next move?
Any mid-table Premier League club will pick him up and he'll do a job for them.
I'd see him getting a wee cushy international job now.
England?
Nah.
I think he's too good to do something like a Poland or something.
Sidetrack. Who would replace Gareth Southgate? Or we save that for the summer.
Potter.
Potter or Howes are sort of two big names.
Howe's not going to leave.
No, not now, but I mean, like, they were the two sort of big names.
Aye, but to be honest, if Newcastle are doing well, would Howe not quit while he's ahead before he's regressed?
I don't think so. I think Howe would want to continue his project, yeah.
Sky's the limit. In Europe next season. So
true. No, that is true. But I think it'll depend how Europe goes, to be honest. But that's something to look forward to for you, Greg. Right. Well, at the top of the table, Arsenal's bottle has crashed. It's gone, I would say.
Has it?
I think so.
They can't win the league now.
I mean, I was going for they weren't going to win the league ages ago. You know, notably at Christmas when we decided who was going to win the league, I still said Man City.
Well, who did you say was going to win the Champions League?
Don't
take that tone with me.
Okay, last
Yes, Kyle scored none. I also said Rangers were going to win the Scottish Premiership. So
yeah, we all knew the answer to that one anyway. I was going to say that regardless. You put a bet on Queens to win the league, so you can shove that one as well.
I did. That was out of hope
and
expectation.
Yeah, well, I was in the same boat, but no, I'm getting slagged off for it.
Staying quiet.
I didn't predict it on this podcast.
I think you did. I did because we weren't doing the podcast.
We weren't doing it by then, and by the time we did do it, Queens had been proven to be shite.
Yeah, it's pretty mental that we're 28 episodes in now.
It does. Doesn't feel like that.
A friend at work was telling me that there's like a certain statistic that podcasts, like folks starting out, don't make it past a certain amount of podcasts. There's only like a certain percentage. I maybe need to get the actual stat for next week. And then there's like another percentage of like so many get to like say 10 episodes, and then only so many get to like 25. So we've done well. However, we need to get the subscribers up.
We do.
Yes. If you're watching, I don't start this again. If you're watching, just please subscribe.
Please subscribe and click the notification bell.
I don't care about the notification bell at the now. Just get the subscribers up. We've only got 22. That's not even one for each episode.
It's not.
You know what? Well, we're enjoying it. It's not about this fame and stardom yet. Anyway, right. Arsenal's bottled the league, I would say. Doesn't look like City's going to lose it now.
It doesn't, but I still have objections to use of the word. Like, it can be a bottle job, which it is, because they shouldn't have lost it from that position, especially in the way they lost it, which was losing points against Southampton, West Ham and Liverpool. Brighton's, no, it was gone by then.
Yeah, but that was like the final nail.
The Southampton game was the final nail for me.
Each to their own.
But, like, it is a bottle job, and it still can be a bottle job, but also the fact that no one predicted them to even crack the top four this season. And if you ask me again next year, they're still not going to crack the top four. So,
no, my point was they had a big lead and they bottled it.
I seen a thing before we came on. It was they'd spent 250 days or something at the top this season. Man City had 12.
On the other hand, Man City haven't lost a game since they were charged by the Premier League with those offences in any competition.
Yeah. I was thinking this earlier on, right? Remember that whole fiasco? This kind of just went under the carpet. But if Man City could win the Champions League in the same year that they were being threatened to be kicked out for financial fair play rules.
Well, it's not the Champions League; it's the Premier League. They've
thought it was both.
At this stage, just the Premier League.
Oh.
They've announced quite embarrassingly. It could be, yeah. but they've announced quite embarrassingly that they're going to challenge the precedent for ruling against them. I don't quite know why. Someone on Twitter suggested it was due to one of the KCs being an Arsenal fan. It's definitely not that. I cannot remember what the actual reason is.
Well, they're not getting kicked out, so let's be honest, they make too much money for the league.
No, they're not going to get kicked out.
Yeah.
Another fiasco in the league currently. Ivan Toney's betting ban. Well, he's not. He is banned because of his betting. Greg, do you want to dip into that for anyone who doesn't know?
He was charged with over 260 counts of betting above a certain level in the English game and the Scottish game. It's not very high. It's pretty low. I think it's as soon as you start receiving money for playing football, basically.
He said Madaka's on the lower league.
But like, as soon as you're involved at a certain level, no matter what your involvement is, you cannot bet on football at all.
Well, yeah,
That's the
actually.
rules.
See another podcast, Open Goal, I used to watch. They used to do their, like, we basically accumulator scenario thing, and Simon Ferry could never do it because obviously he was playing at Peterhead at the time. It was always the Frank McAvenny and Derek Ferguson, and also Paul Slane before he went back into football. So yeah,
Yes.
that's when I first kind of realised, because I always wondered why he wasn't better.
And I think that reflects, what some of the reaction to this Ivan Toney news has been that gambling is inescapable in football. There's the tweet kicking about that says, if you look through his career, he was in the Sky Bet Championship. He plays at the he plays at the Brentford Community Stadium, which I think had or has a gambling sponsorship, and he's played at a stadium with a gambling sponsorship. He won his first, he scored a goal wearing the Fun 88 Newcastle kit. He currently wears a kit with Hollywood Bet on it. Gambling and football are inescapable. I get that. That's not caused Ivan Toney to bet. It is a problem, but it's a separate problem.
Yes.
It's an interesting take, yes.
I know you've said, Robert, you think the ban's maybe quite harsh, but actually,
at first glance I thought it was.
But look at the Trippier one when he was at Madrid. It was only 10 games or something. I don't know.
10 weeks, but he was also charged with 7 or 10 offences, whereas Tony's been charged with 260.
Shouldn't really matter.
He's got his money's worth.
You'd also remember that 8 months is 2 of those, or at least 2 of those, if not 3. It starts now, and that includes pre-season and things. So actually, he's back in January.
But he's not allowed to train at all, so that will kind of hinder his.
For about half of it.
Oh, I've just assumed it was the whole time.
For about half of it, there's a date in which he can come back to football, but can't play.
As I said to Greg earlier on, just in time for him to come back in the England squad for the Euros.
It is, but again, it'll depend how he reacts to this. The betting ban that he got basically killed Joey Barton's career.
I think Tony's a bit better than Barton, though.
He is. But also, there's no way. So, Trippier obviously was at Atletico Madrid when he got banned. It is an English ban, but if they leave the country, the English FA will make it sure it applies internationally. So, there's no way in which Toney can just sod off to the MLS for 6 months or go and be pals with Ronaldo for 6 months. It can't happen.
They can't just not play though and go be pals. You don't play
he can.
They'll come back in absolute tanks. He's been in the gym the whole time.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure what the status is if he can actually use the gym at Brentford.
Get a bannies.
He can probably afford his own home gym, or as Kyle said, we trip to BANnatyne's, and you can even.
He can definitely afford a home gym.
He can definitely dip in the pool and a trip to the sauna after that as well, and that would help his recovery. So,
are you a member of a gym in West London? Can you write to us if Ivan Toney goes to your gym?
Or if you're Ivan Toney, just let us know.
Why?
Come on the podcast.
I was going to say, get him on the podcast. He's got a few months to spare. We'll just make sure he does a wee segment on the betting awareness and get that out of the way first.
3-1 odds on him joining. That's not fair.
Also, don't condone it. It's a subject that could be a good one for the off season.
Yes, the other thing we should also say about this is that this does not mean he made the bets himself. Trippier, for example, and Daniel Sturridge both got bans for telling close family members they were moving to put bets on them moving clubs. It's basically insider trading, which is why it's not very good. I know Sturridge in particular was a massive critic of that kind of rule and said I should be able to talk to my family whenever I want, however I want. But people can make money out of these things. But again, the betting ban pretty much kills Sturridge's career.
Yeah, true. Just a sidetrack. Sturridge is a bit weird at the minute. Have you seen his TikToks? I don't know. He makes all these songs. He was like Inter Milan versus AC Milan, and he's going on like this, and it's quite embarrassing.
Oh no, he's made the standard mistake. If there's one ick in the past week, it is people calling them Inter Milan and AC Milan, or specifically referring to the second club as AC, which should never happen.
Inter and then Milan.
Yeah, it should be Inter and Milan.
Internationale.
Internazionale, yes.
I think you pronounced that a wee bit different, but I got the idea.
Yeah, if there's one, like, again,
Liverpool.
Twitter was full of this. BT's Serie A coverage is excellent, and you've got James Horncastle and James Richardson who do it, and James Horncastle appeared for about 5 minutes. I don't want to hear Rio Ferdinand. I want to hear the expert on Italian football. What does Rio Ferdinand have?
Goes at the wheel.
He does my head in.
Like, have experts about the game.
What's he doing?
It's my shoulder.
I've no idea. I think that's a sign we should move on. We could talk about the Champions League semi-finals, actually.
2-0 Newcastle.
Is it?
Daniel Burn.
Oh. Bird.
Dan Burn. Have Newcastle scored 2 goals from corners?
Looks like it.
Christ.
Wait, I'll find out for you.
No, it was a free kick.
Oh, close enough. Set piece.
Yes, Newcastle scoring goals from set pieces is very rare.
He might have took himself, to be fair. Like a wee knuckleball.
Cross into the box from Kieran Trippier.
He's only got 4 fingers.
Yes. Well, he's got 9 fingers, shall we clarify?
4 in one hand, though.
Yes. To move that on, we were talking about the Champions League semi-finals. You obviously there earlier, Robert, you did predict Man City to win the Champions League. That's looking good for you?
Yeah, for a change, my predictions came right.
They are, they are probably going to win that game.
You would think so.
You never know.
However, it's a Champions League final, so anyway. What's the date of it, actually?
It's in a couple of weeks, yeah.
10th of June or something.
Can someone in the Champions League final, anyone, just break Erling Haaland's legs? Please and thank you, love Scotland. I've asked already, no one's listened.
He wasn't that good last night. I watched the game, he wasn't very good. Haaland. He had a few chances.
Matter.
I think Silva and De Bruyne are your 2 ones to watch. The midfield.
Yeah, they're not playing Scotland, though. Haaland is.
That's not far away, is it?
No. That's like immediately afterwards. So yeah, if someone could just injure Erling Haaland in any way, fantastic job.
Might have been off day against Scotland, never know. Has a feeling.
Grant Hanley might have him in his back pocket.
Grant Hanley breaks Erling Haaland in 2.
That would be delightful. I'd love that.
You don't like Grant Hanley, though?
Yes, I know, but fridges can be useful for some things.
Like breaking the region young boys in 2.
Yes.
I seen he was nominated for a young player of the season, which is mental. Haaland.
Yeah, because it's 23 the cut-off.
Odegaard's 24. Again, he was
both
23 to start the season, but
I don't know what the cut-off is. It could be 25.
I think
Let's
it's 23,
be honest, he's going to win both, isn't he?
Can you win them both? Yeah, surely.
Yeah, Dele Alli did it.
That's a blast from the past. Where's he gone?
Turkey.
No, they got rid of him.
I'm sure. I thought he was still.
I thought they wanted rid of him.
What a fall from grace that was.
I think they want rid of him, but they can't because nobody wants him because he's key.
Well, he's not contracted then. He's still contracted to Everton.
No, Everton. Yeah, I meant Everton.
Yeah, according to this, yeah.
I don't like him.
Besiktas, he returned to Besiktas last month. Returned from Besiktas last month, injured. Besiktas want rid of him. He's going back to MK Dons, let's be honest.
He needs to take an MK Dons and revitalise himself.
I mean, that's League 2, so he should be tearing that up.
Should be. But
Come to Scottish League 1, I mean, I'd take him at Queen's.
He could probably buy Queen's.
What the pump?
Heard Bobby Firmino's going to Queen's.
So there's Milner and Oxlade-Chamberlain and
Keita.
Great.
Ronaldo.
Queen's injury table will be delighted.
I'll give them something to do. Right, we'll move on with chat for this quite a bit.
We have.
Yes, so as Greg made reference to, Rangers finally picked up an old firm win this season. Oh no, I've jumped to Champions League. We'll come back to Champions League, screw it.
I tried.
Yeah, you did, but we kind of jumped over it. We could talk about it next week.
when it's more relevant. Like.
Yeah.
We can do a preview to the final, maybe.
Yeah. Well, just to confirm, the Champions League final is Inter versus Man City. So
International Zali.
No, Inter's fine. We can deal with Inter.
So,
There's still rumours. UEFA are still adamant it will be held in Turkey. There is an election runoff to happen. There's rumours there's going to be riots if Erdogan loses. There is also rumours that they've contacted Lisbon about holding it in case Turkey can't. Turkey have been scheduled to hold the Champions League final since 2020 and still haven't.
who do you say is going to host it if they don't?
Lisbon.
They've spoke to Lisbon, I believe.
Get it back at Hampden.
Make it a neutral ground. Take it at Palmerston.
Not full of Man City fans, so.
There's no Man City fans. It's called the Etihad.
To be fair, did you see the atmosphere last night?
It was after the fourth goal. The first one was all right.
Does it take 4 goals to get that crowd pumped up? Because that's
No, it was the opposite. It was the opposite. I'm pretty sure it was more pumped at the start, and then by the fourth they were just clapping. And then
doing the pause now, that was quite a sight.
Aye, but because at the fourth goal they zoomed in on the fans that weren't really reacting, so that's what they call social media. They don't have the best fans in the league by any means, but I think they get a bit of a slagging just because it's trendy to do it on social media.
Their core following are fantastic. The problem is they have the day trippers now.
Yeah, every Premier League club has that now.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Imagine
if Luton go up.
It'd be good to see a new team up.
I'd like to see Coventry. I'd like to see Coventry up.
They've had their time.
They have, but they're nice to have their time again.
About 40 years
It's
ago.
also quite
Luton
convenient.
need to spend 10 million on their stadium though, or play somewhere else.
MK Dons is the rumour.
It's a nice gaff though.
Yeah, but no one wants to go to Milton Keynes.
No.
I would.
You've also
Have
never
you
been to
ever
Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, we'll keep going because we're kind of sidetracking. Right, Rangers beat Celtic 3-0. Finally, I'd just like to give a big shout out to John Soapy Suter. I had a vision before the game that he was going to score, so I chucked a wee pound on it, and it came in. Did a laugh McKill's living room. It's quite the sight. It was a great moment for me. Too little, too late. Obviously, it was a bit of a kick in the stones that we couldn't have done it earlier in the season. But I mean, it shows a bit more promise. I'm not having this. It was a Celtic reserve team because it wasn't.
It was a standard Rangers performance of doing it when it's a bit too late.
Yeah.
So bragging rights though.
Yeah, there's nothing really much else to say about that. But it shows good promise for next season. Just need to get the right. I need to address this actually. I'd like to apologise to Sakala. I still think I want him to leave, but he took his goal very well. It was a good finish. However, when he went past Joe Hart, I was screaming both internally and externally because I generally just had visions of him missing again. However, maybe it's just Hampden that he can't score with an open goal. He scored last season, Greg. Yes, I saw that face. That was in the Scottish Cup, and it wasn't an open goal. But so obviously on to next season, onwards and upwards. Other SPL chatter.
Yes, Hearts managed to go 2-0 down and somehow recover it. That is going to be a very interesting race because obviously Aberdeen are now 5 points ahead of Hearts. As I wrote when I was writing the predictions last weekend, they play each other this weekend, so it might become 2 points.
Or 7. 8.
Or 7 or 8, yeah. Third and fourth obviously get Europa League qualification. Fifth only gets Conference League qualification. Hibs are now only a point behind them, and it is an Edinburgh derby on the final day, which Sky are somehow not televising.
That's an absolute shambles. That'd be well tasty, especially on the last day.
Especially the last day. The other thing is that Hearts do only have one of the Old Firm to play, whereas Hibs have 2. But
how many games are left? 3?
3 games left.
Right, I thought so.
That race is going to be very, very tasty. I think St Mirren are out of it because St Mirren have both Rangers and Celtic to play.
So sorry, say it again for me with a little brain. 1 and 2 first is automatic Champions League, second is Champions League qualification.
Yeah.
Third and fourth are Europa League qualification.
Third is Europa League playoff.
Yeah, and then fourth's from the start.
Fourth is mid qualifying round. Fourth I think is that. It could be the Conference League though. I'm pretty sure it's that. One place is the Conference League. It's the Scottish Cup place. So Inverness will get whatever place is left if they win. I've decided based on my previous statements that they won't, so it will go to whoever finishes 5th. Unless Super Cali go ballistic.
I just want to see the look on Lee Johnson's face when St Mirren get the last place.
His stupid face.
Hope Dundee United go down. I think they're going to.
Yes, that's the other end. It's quite exciting actually.
Hold on, I'll get my table up.
Motherwell have properly kind of pulled away from that. Livy are 11 points away, so they're safe.
St Johnstone looks safe.
St Johnstone could get dragged into 11th very easily though.
They shouldn't go down though. They should be safe if you think, but you never know.
You would think, but I don't know. Again, Dundee United versus Kilmarnock is on Wednesday, not on telly. None of the bottom 6 fixtures are on telly. You've got 4 teams separated by 5 points, and Sky didn't pick them for telly.
It's because there's a wee stupid dafties who nobody cares about.
Yeah, but they've also picked every single Celtic game, pretty much.
No, if we don't play in Glasgow, we don't get a game on telly.
Looks like the Dundee clubs are going to cross each other on the way up and down. So obviously Dundee already winning the league.
It's a proper shame because I really love a Dundee derby. It's an underrated derby.
Might stay up, Dundee.
United.
Yeah, so they might stay up.
They've lost losing your first 2 games. Like they were on a run of 3 wins, and then post split they've lost their last 2 games. That's not a good omen.
Well, Dundee beat Livy the last 3 games ago when they played on this Saturday, so they could do it.
They could, and Livy are on a shit run of form.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. They beat St Johnstone 4 games ago, so.
See, Martindale is saying that they said his budget cut even further, and they were the lowest budget in the league anyway.
Yeah, anything he does to keep them in the league is absolutely ridiculous.
I think, as I said, they should survive.
Tab does what Tab does.
To be fair, one of the reasons their budget might have been cut is because they don't have any Lyndon Dykes money. If Lyndon Dykes moves to Rangers, on the other hand, as has been widely reported, both Livy and Queens will probably get some form of sum.
I thought the sale only applied to the next club they moved to. I don't know how it works, but I thought the QPR was all Queens would get.
Queens will get some tiny form of payment.
I'll take it.
Livy will be due some money.
Unless it wasn't a free.
I think he's still under contract.
You're right, kicking the balls.
Pardon me. So obviously Dundee are going up from the Championship. Partick doing well.
4 up. No, they're through to Ayr, aren't they?
They are.
They scurried Queen's Park.
Yeah.
They did.
Disappointed the season for Queen's Park. Owen Coyle is obviously away now. So interesting.
It's as if trying to buy the league and getting a manager who's far too good has backfired on them.
Imagine my shock. When is the Ayr Partick game?
Friday?
Friday. It's not showing up for me, so like that. Yeah, it's Friday. 7:45.
Airdrie and Hamilton obviously playing.
It's on BBC. Yeah, sorry. I was going to say it's on BBC Scotland, and Annan are on BBC Alba. But I was just assuming a bit to that. Carry on.
Yeah. Airdrie playing Hamilton in the final of League One, and local team Annan impressive 3-1 win over Clyde in the League Two playoffs, looking like they are going to be coming up, and it will be a Queens and Annan rivalry in the league next year. I think that would be good for the local Fitba. Was it 16 miles?
Yeah, well, maybe even less than that. It would be really good, and it would be like it's nice for Ayr Queens to have a proper derby, because who do you hate, Queens? Ayr. Who do you hate? Kilmarnock. You know, Ayr care less about us than we care about them.
I saw there's a Queen's chat on Facebook, and they were saying a lot of them are in the mind of, they wanted to be a friendly derby. I don't want it to be. I want hatred.
Nah, there's nothing wrong with a friendly derby.
Nah.
We watched that carry on with Ayr and Queens, and we shit ourselves.
I know, but we wouldn't be getting involved anyway. I just like the intensity. I think if it's a friendlier derby, the football gets impacted on it.
The football won't suffer because the players know each other so well.
Surely it would then.
I was going to say I like the rivalries. Like it's just fans back and forth shouting rather than fighting. Fighting's too far.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. I would like it to be.
Like the atmosphere for that game was good, but the fighting was too much after it.
Aye.
It tarnishes it.
I imagine there's going to be
no violence at all. Let's just clarify that.
Yes, some teenagers are probably going to take it too far between Queens and Annan, but I imagine that most people with a brain in their body will know to keep things sensible and friendly.
Yes. Well, all the Queens fans will be on the same train anyway, so it'll be easier to contain them.
That is very true.
Well, I watched Pellers at the pub when I was walking home the last time in the Betfred game. I just turned around and gave it one of them and walked in.
I don't condone violence.
I didn't. There's no violence. It's just gestures.
That wee boy's still crying about it. It's nightmares of you.
It's two grown men.
Well, the point remains. Men can cry too.
Yes, they can.
To be fair, they had bragging rights that day. They absolutely scored us. I know it was 3-2, but they did us.
I would also say, to move away from Annan a bit, actually, that Cove Rangers have become full-time today.
Saw that.
They've been terrible under Paul Hartley, but, full-time might maybe not address things.
How can they afford it if they got relegated?
They're quite well backed, I believe.
Maybe that's what they're hoping, that they'll bounce back up if they're full-time. well,
yeah, that's the thing. You were potentially losing Dunfermline as a full-time club and Airdrie as a full-time club, but you're gaining Cove and Hamilton, who are both full-time. If Cove had stayed part-time, that would be advantageous from our perspective as one less full-time club in the league.
But they won't bring fans anyway because it's how far away it is. So you don't get the ticket sales.
How long at this current rate will the Queen stay full-time?
I think we've got a genuinely good crack at the league next season, if not the title, because Falkirk will be favourites.
Yeah.
Depends, because they've been quite geek in recent weeks.
They absolutely studded us in all games bar one, I'm pretty sure.
But they're too good for that league. Like they're not too good. They're too big a club. The club's been run badly. It's fan owned, and it's just not been run well.
I like Queens.
That is a statement, not a question. If anyone knows that patter from the Falkirk AGM.
We're not sad.
A man stood up, had a rant about how bad the team was, and then the chairman turned around and went, "That is a statement, not a question," and then moved on.
Well, yeah.
We can discuss that in the summer as well.
Yeah. Tension.
Right. We're getting on, so let's keep going.
We are.
Right, Greg, you want to take this?
No, carry on.
No, I was going to say, do you want to go to the next point you were talking about earlier?
Yes, it was me who mentioned this as part of predictions this week, but also I think it's good to mention that it is the final day of the Scottish Women's Premier League this weekend, and we have a three-way title fight on our hands and some more live football on your television. It is at Ibrox. We have two of the top three facing off as Rangers host Glasgow City. Glasgow City, with a win at Ibrox, will win the SWPL title. If Rangers win, they need to rely on goal difference against Celtic, who play
I'd just like to point out the
Hearts
goal
fourth.
difference. Sorry, I'd like to point
Yes.
out the goal difference. So Glasgow City are first with 93 goal difference. Rangers are second with 103. Celtic are third with 102. And Hearts of Midlothian are fourth with -1. And then we're going to
Yes.
jump to the bottom of the league. So in comparison, the highest goal difference in the league is 103 compared to Glasgow Women, who are bottom of the split with -139. That is absolutely mental.
I'm going to say that because
Can I chip in?
Aye.
You've missed the best bit of Glasgow Women. They've got no points.
Well, I mean, I think that was a given.
They've been the whipping girls of this division.
I didn't realise they had a split as well until obviously it split the other. But I didn't realise it was also the same format until this year.
Yes. And it's
Pretty good
nice to
though.
see a bit more publicity. That game will be on
Oh,
BBC
definitely.
Alba. I think it's on Sunday. Be good to see. That'll be a real good opportunity for some exposure. It'll be a really exciting title race. That has
Deserves
got
it.
ever closer. I believe Glasgow City are still semi-pro, whereas Celtic and Rangers are both pro. So that proves how well run a club that is.
Yeah, I think we should make a point of trying to get to some of these games next season.
It's
Obviously,
hard
harder
'cause
for you.
There's
Yeah,
none nearby us, any of us really.
yeah, but we could make a wee trip to Glasgow if it was nothing.
I am going to try and make an effort in other news. Pennybunt FC finished third in the Cymru Premier this year. They play in Bridgend, which is just up the road. So I am going to try and get to their Europa Conference League qualifiers and produce some content for our fans.
Quickly, Bridgend. Speaking of Bridgend, Weekend Defender, please sponsor us. You see my wee Weekend Defender numbers up there. Please sponsor us. I could do with some clobber. Right, sorry, just wanted to get that out of the way. Right, let's move on.
Right, after my disappointing loss in the game last week, yes, my disappointing loss. It is now my turn to make the game. I'm sure most people will know how this works by now. It is a game of categories. I give you a certain number of answers, and you have to alternate. And it is Robert who is the challenger this week, so he will go first. I also have 3 different questions this week, one on players, one on teams, and one on managers. So I will give Robert the choice if he wants to start with players, teams, or managers. Reminder, if you get it right, you will hear a ding, and if you get it wrong, you will hear this. And if you take too long, Naveed will count you down, but I'm not playing that clip because it's quite long. Robert, would you like to start with players, teams, or managers?
Right, well, sorry.
I was just saying just 2 on Newcastle. That was all. Brighton have scored.
My theory behind this is I'm going to go for my weakest one first, because if I lose the point on that, then I'll hopefully maybe have more of a chance of pulling it back. However, we all know that I'm going to lose because I'm the only one who hasn't won one yet. So I'm going to go managers first.
Here's the Glasgow Women for this trio.
You're
Yes.
going to go managers first. This one, there are 17 answers. And the question is, any Chelsea manager since Roman Abramovich took over in 2003 to now, including caretakers, there are 17 answers because I am not including Mauricio Pochettino because he hasn't started yet. Robert to play.
That was my only answer. Right, Graham Potter.
Graham Potter for less than a season.
Frank Lampard.
Twice.
Jose Mourinho.
Twice.
Di Matteo.
Roberto Di Matteo.
You say 17?
Yep, including caretakers.
Why is my mind went blank? This might be a really stupid shout, but was Avram Grant not the Chelsea manager at one point?
Yes, he was. Director of football first, then manager.
Rafa Benitez.
Interim manager.
Oh. Oh, I might have made a wee boo-boo here. I don't think he was, but it was Ancelotti.
Who's hitting?
Twice.
I've gone down. There's all my answers. You're gonna just play the time.
Really?
My mind's went blank.
It's ticking.
You know what the pressure's like? No, I've lost it.
Points
VS
to Kyle.
Boas.
Andre Villas-Boas is
Oh, that was-
correct. Other answers, Claudio Ranieri was manager when Abramovich
Took
took over. Big Phil Scolari. Ray Wilkins was a caretaker. Steve Holland was a caretaker. You then also missed Antonio Conte, Maurizio Sarri, and Thomas Tuchel.
Should have got them.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
well.
what you said,
And then the last one is Bruno Saltor as a caretaker.
Oh, well.
So that was managers. Kyle,
Sorry, I jumped in there. I forgot that he had to give an answer at the end, but he got it anyway. So
you won the point. And it is your turn to pick. Would you like players or teams to try and win the game?
Players.
Players. So I would like you to, there are 22 possible answers, as you might have guessed. I would like you to cast your mind back to 2016.
I was 16 years old.
September 2016. It's Rangers' first Old Firm back in the top flight, which they lost 5-1. And I'd like you to name any player in the starting lineup for either side. 2016. Kyle to go first.
Moussa Dembele.
Correct.
Wes Fodderyoung. We'll kick my fault to me.
Correct.
Is this the first one back in the since their hiatus? Yeah.
First one back in the top flight since the hiatus, yeah.
Scott Brown.
I clicked the ding. It did
James
nothing.
Forrest.
Joseph Barton.
Yes.
Fraser Forster. That's wrong. I was trying to get the Celtic ones out the way first because I thought I'll know more Rangers ones, but I've obviously just got that wrong.
Do you know who the keeper was, Kyle?
Or Celtic.
He needs to give an answer.
No, he
Yeah.
doesn't. He started.
Oh, fair enough.
Keeper. I feel like I should know it.
No.
Scott Bain? No.
No, it was Doris de Vries.
I never would have got that.
Rangers lineup was Wes Foderingham, James Tavernier, Rob
I was
Kieran.
No, it don't matter. I was going to. Those were my answers that I had up my sleeve, but I thought I was going to get Forster out the way and then get them into them. But obviously, I've messed it up.
Rob Kieran, Philippe Senderos, who was sent off, Lee Wallace, Joey Barton, Kenny Miller, Nico Cranchar, Joss Windass, Barry Mackay, and Joe Garner. For Celtic, we had Doris de Vries, Mikael Lustig, Eric Sviatchenko, Cole O'Toole, Kieran Tierney, Scott Brown, Nir Beaton, James Forrest, Tom Rogic, Scott Sinclair, and Moussa Dembele. So that leaves us with teams for Kyle for a clean sweep. And it is 20 answers. Teams who have played in the Scottish Premiership playoffs since their introduction in the 2013-14 season. That includes the teams this season.
Premiership playoffs.
Between the Premiership and the Championship.
Right.
20 answers since 2013-14, including this season. Robert to start.
Can I just spot that? Is it the 11th place as well? Yeah. In
That includes the
Premiership.
11th place teams. Obviously not the one from this season because we don't know who they are yet.
Rangers.
Correct.
Queens.
Twice.
Hibernian.
3 times.
Patrick Thistle.
3 times.
Ayr United.
Twice.
Queen Park.
Yep.
Dundee.
Yes.
Motherwell.
Fine, thank you.
Dundee United.
3 times.
Falkirk.
3 times.
Hamilton.
Twice. One of the few teams to get promoted from the Championship.
Inverness. Don't know if we've been in it.
Twice.
Livingston.
The other team to get promoted from the Championship.
Ross County.
That was my next one.
It's not correct.
Oh, wait, I need to answer one though.
You started.
No, you started. You're good.
Oh, class. Both. That's too much.
2-1. The answers you're missing. Anyone want to have a pop at any of the others?
How many's left?
There are 7 left. One
Come
from
on.
last season that you really should get.
Kilmarnock, no.
Yep,
Okay,
Kilmarnock twice. Yep. Including last season.
last season.
Yep, there's another one from last season.
Who won the league last? Arbroath.
Arbroath, yep.
Who won the league last season? It was Kelly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They
Oh,
played in the relegation.
Yeah, they didn't play it in the relegation.
Not last year.
I'm lost. They played in it the year before. The other ones you're missing: Dunfermline twice, Wraith twice.
Alloa? No.
No, Morton, St Johnstone, and St Mirren.
I nearly said Airdrie, but that was League One.
I would have said Wraith at some point, I reckon.
Yeah. Anyway,
Champions.
Wraith was what I was thinking, but I was going to say Ross County, so I'm glad you said it first.
2-1. So we are back to Greg versus Kyle next week, and we will move on to predictions very quickly. Last week was a very low scoring week. 3 points to myself, 3 points to Robert, and 2 points to Kyle, who's done as good a job as Arsenal at bottling a lead.
I mean, we've got 3 games left, including this week coming.
It'll only be 2, I think. Like this, 3 including this week, 2 after this week. That takes the total scores to myself on 113, Robert on 106, and Kyle on 108.
I'm coming for that second place.
Arsenal is under region.
This week it is my place or my pick of the games. First one is Hearts versus Aberdeen in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts 4th, but only 1 point above Hibs. As we mentioned, Aberdeen above Hearts. Is that 5-point gap insurmountable? Neither side has won since the start of the split.
I think a draw.
I also think it'll be a tense affair, and I'm also going for a draw.
I'm going to go for a sneaky Hearts win.
Hearts win for Kyle. Scottish Premiership bottom 6, we've got Kilmarnock versus Ross County. Ross County won both games since the split and are 2 points above the D9 at the bottom. Killie are above Ross County, and County would leapfrog them with a win. Killie would overtake St Johnstone if they win.
Would you say maybe a wee draw?
You're going for a draw, Kyle.
I think that Ross County are going to win this game.
I'm going for another Ross County win as well. 3 on the spin for Ross County. The playoffs to go into the Championship, we've got Hamilton versus Airdrie, the second leg of that. Hamilton trying to avoid 2 relegations in the 3 seasons. Airdrie scudded Falkirk and hold a 1-0 advantage over Hamilton going into the second leg.
I think that the Airdrieonians are going up.
Do you think they're going to win this tie? Because they don't have to go up.
Yes, I think they're still going to win it.
I think Hamilton are going to win this tie either 1-0 and take it to extra time, or they might stay up in 90 minutes.
I'm thinking Hamilton as well.
Hamilton as well for Kyle. The next game is in the Pyramid Playoff. It's Albion Rovers versus Spartans, the second leg of that. 1-1 draw in Edinburgh last weekend with the Spartans' first ever season in the SPFL after winning the Lowland League. Albion have never been in this position before and are desperate to avoid relegation.
I think it's going to be a debut in the Scottish Pyramid for Spartans.
I think it's going to go to extra time. I'm going for a draw.
I don't know why I said that as if it was like you had to guess between the two when I gave the description before it. No, right, yeah, Spartans.
You'd be looking at a Spartans heartbreak. Albion are going to win.
Albion will win. Next game, as we mentioned, the SWPL. It's the big game at Ibrox, Rangers versus Glasgow City. Glasgow City win would win them the title. Rangers win would come down to goal difference if Celtic beat Hearts. Celtic have scored more goals, but Rangers are 1 ahead on goal difference as it stands.
I think that Kirsty Howat is going to lead Rangers to win the title.
I think it will be a draw.
I think the Teddy Bears will take it.
5 wildcards this week from me. So into the English Premier League, Liverpool versus Aston Villa is 5th versus 8th. Liverpool have won 7 in a row and are unbeaten in 9. They've only lost at Anfield once this season. They beat Villa 3-1 on Boxing Day at Villa Park. Villa have some patchy form and have only won 7 points out of 15 available.
I think that Liverpool are going to continue their good run.
I agree.
×3.
×3. League One playoff second leg, Carlisle versus Bradford. Carlisle finished 5th in League Two. Bradford finished 6th. Both sides with only 1 win in 5 going into the playoffs. Bradford take a 1-0 lead to Brunton Park, but Carlisle won 1-0 there on Boxing Day.
I think with all the fans behind them, I think Carlisle are going to get the result. Possibly
I
even take it
don't-
to extra time.
I think. Sorry.
That's what I was going to say.
I think it'll be a Bradford win.
I'm thinking like a wee Carlisle 1-0 for extra time.
Carlisle
But yeah,
1-0.
Carlisle win the time. Yes.
Into the Bundesliga, Hertha versus Bochum. Already mentioned this earlier. The defeat would relegate Hertha with 2 games to spare. They've only won 1 of their last 5, but so have Bochum, who sit only 1 point above the playoff and 2 points above automatic relegation.
I think Hertha are going to get a result this time and then get beat in the last game. So a win for them this time.
Draw for myself.
I agree with a draw. That would still give them mathematical hope. Ligue 1 in France now. Battle for Europe there. Marseille versus Lille. Marseille could confirm a Champions League place with a win. Lille still have a faint chance in the Europa League, but are without a win in 2 games. Marseille have only lost 1 of their last 10.
I think Marseille for the win.
I agree.
So do I.
And the last game's in the Brasileirão. It is Botafogo versus Fluminense. It is the Brazilian Grandpa Derby. Botafogo are top after 6 games and won their last 4. Fluminense are 2 points behind them in third. Botafogo have yet to draw a game this season. Robert's looked confused ever since I said the words Grandpa Derby.
I'm just thinking. I went first for all the other ones, so I'll let you go first for this one.
I'm going for a Botafogo win.
Me too.
I'm going to butcher this, but a Fluminense win.
That sounds good to me, and that is the end of the predictions for this week.
Thank you. Obviously, like we said, including this week, 3 games left. 3 games left, including this week. We'll have a champion very, very soon. This will then obviously take a break over the summer, and we'll start again in the start of the Premiership
Betfred.
season. Or are we going for the Betfred?
Was it
I
bet?
think we'll go for the Betfred. Yeah, we did say
We'll
the
go for the
Betfred.
League Cups. We might do something standalone, but we'll think about it.
Yes, we'll still to discuss that, but there will be predictions for the start of the next season anyway, because obviously we started the podcast 28 weeks ago, so we were a bit late in starting, but
very late.
But we're here now. Anyway, right, thank you very much. It's been a bit of a longer episode than we planned, but it's good to have a bit of chat. Give us a follow on all the socials. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thank you very much. See you later.
Godspeed.
Goodbye.